Justice League Dark issue 7, James Tynion the fourth, writing with Alvaro Martinez back on art. And this issue is a very Tales from the Crypt-esque issue where Man-Bat is basically reading out some stories that have happened recently with the team, talking about the other kind and where they've been popping up. So, yes.
So we brought up when this first started, and the Upside Down Man was very Lovecraftian.
Mm-hmm.
The narration, like, it's not quite narration. It is dialogue from Man-Bat.
But
feels like a Lovecraft story.
Yeah, like this idea that the evil is thoughts, and it's a cursed object that
I don't even mean just in terms of the themes and ideas. I mean in terms of the actual writing style.
So this is where I'm a bit of a fraud. I've never actually read Lovecraft like actual stories. Like I've read synopses.
I've read some.
Yeah, so you could probably speak to that better than I can. I just know from when something feels Lovecraftian, it's this just out of sight evil horror, and it's not what's being shown; it's what's not being shown.
It's the other thing as well here is that this idea is Lovecraftian. It's also very Freddy Krueger actually. Yeah? Is the idea that the more people who know the other kind exist, and the more people who are scared of them, the harder it's going to be to get rid of them because their power grows.
The more powerful they become.
What I was referring to in terms of the writing style is the way it's this first person telling the story.
Gotcha.
Style. That's very Lovecraft.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was going to reveal at the end who Man-Bat was talking to, but he never really was talking to anyone. He was just.
It was just. Yeah, it was. He was the omniscient narrator.
Yeah.
You know.
He's sitting with his journal.
I was actually wondering, does he know that the Upside Down Man's there and he's he's cracked and he's
I don't think he does.
No.
And wait to jump to the ending. Upside Down Man, there was a whole time he's there. He's in the background.
It doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. It's not what the issue's about.
No. But so I brought this up on Twitter as soon as I read this. When we were talking about this book a couple weeks ago, I was like, it had a rotating cast throughout the New 52, and this character shows up, and then we get some of those characters sprinkled throughout, and I'm like, damn it, Tynion, you get me. Like, this is great.
I love that this is introducing different members of the other kind.
Yeah, well, that's the main thing I want to get to, because we get like 3 or 4 stories here, some of them shorter than others. And what I like about it is not only is it introducing different other kind members, each one's got a different member of the team who's there to investigate it. 1 or 2 of them will be there. The first one's Zatanna. It's this, this like S&M, but it's demonic, and they're giving their souls up for their
demonic hostile, if you will,
if you want to call it that. And the other kind we get here is like a green glowing like shell of a human, and then inside the green glowing kind of like shell is just random like organs and body parts, all just kind of in a
it's
soup.
not just like, there's teeth in there, there's eyeballs, there's all sorts.
It's called the soup.
The soup, yeah.
Which,
I get it.
Yeah, it's like a soup made of body parts and organs and shit.
And who's the dad I was talking to? That was meant to be like...
It's Lucifer, yeah.
That's Lucifer, right?
The place is called Morningstar.
Right, so Lucifer, is that the same one that's the Vertigo series that they turned into a TV show? Because he was a private detective. This guy didn't seem like that.
Yeah, this doesn't feel like the Lucifer from what I've read in Sandman, but I mean, I haven't read any of the books yet, so maybe.
Yeah. But so he ends up like flooding the place with his soup, because Man-Bat complains about getting the stench off his shoes or whatever it is. So that's good. There's an iVampire story where Swamp Thing and Chimp go and like help investigate.
I never thought we'd see Andrew Bennett again, and the fact that he showed up here.
Do you know what? I'm really glad they pointed out it was iVampire, because I didn't know his name.
Yeah, which I love. I love Detective Chimp going, iVampire, huh?
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna call you that.
That's a stupid name. And then the other kind, again, all of these designs impressed me because every single one is messed up. Every single one is just
in a different way.
Is just dark and like Lovecraftian enough, I guess. Just I don't want to overuse that word.
The stuff of nightmares. It's like where nightmares have a different they have different rules in reality, and it's just correct enough where it might feel real.
It's just enough that your brain accepts it.
Yeah.
So this one, I was just going back a few pages to get the name because the title was
the Conjoined.
The Conjoined, yeah.
The Conjoined.
This is basically, once you have seen this like massive body parts that are all kind of like joined together, and when we say like joined together, it's I want to compare it to a movie, but it would be spoiling the movie, so I won't. But it's like all the maybe I'll compare it to The Thing. Like think of like body parts and The Thing all kind of coming together. The idea being that once you've laid your eyes in this, like Andrew Bennett does here, because so the idea if you didn't see it, you'd be safer. But once you know it exists, you feel like it's pulling you in to join it and become part of the mass.
Again, the Lovecraftian, like it's not what you know, it's what you don't know.
Yeah,
and that's what saves you. The more you know in Lovecraft, the more in danger you are.
Yeah. So that was really cool. And then the next one was The Offspring, and this was Frankenstein and Agents of Shade were there.
Which I'm always down for getting Frank and the Agents back.
Yeah.
Of course you are.
I almost called them the Howling Commandos, which is what Marvel completely ripped off a couple years ago.
Yeah. They feel a lot like the BPRD in terms of
that's
what they always made me think of, though. I mean, having never read any BPRD, they always made me think of the BPRD.
Yeah. And Frankenstein's their Hellboy, and there's a really great series from the New 52, Frankenstein and the Agents of Shade.
That was a blast.
Yeah, that was Lemire. Yeah. But yeah, so if you haven't read that, guys, go and check that out.
The New 52 definitely had some underlooked gems.
Yeah.
In the smaller titles.
So they go on to this, and I think the name of the submarine has a Lovecraft name too.
Oh, did I didn't even notice?
USS Miskatonic.
Miskatonic.
Yeah.
Which is Miskatonic University is a big thing throughout Lovecraft.
Oh, cool. Joe, really, I thought it was. I do think the design of the Offspring is probably my least favorite of the bunch, and that they feel a little bit just like remember the Alien Chestbuster? It's kind of that.
Yeah, but they've got more bodies than that. Like their little baby bodies sort of thing.
Got a little bit of bodies.
The thing that gets me is their host body that they come out of. It gives me the creeps just looking at it.
Well, Joe, it feels like the opposite to the last one in the sense that the last one, everyone comes together to join it. This is more of an infestation that spreads because eventually they basically nuke the submarine is. With Frankenstein left on it.
When they're kind of inside Frank's head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like there's just an arm on the floor that they're just gnawing into like. That stuff all looks great.
Yeah. This is probably the most conventional one, and it just feels like, okay, yeah, the creature looks different, but it just feels like a sort of, a horde of things eating something.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's funny, I actually thought there was a mistake in the art at one point, and it wasn't. I just had to look at the page again to see what they were doing. It's the page where it's counting down to the bomb going off, and it kind of makes the panels into numbers. I thought there was these weird black boxes. It was the six, specifically.
The 6, 5, yeah.
And I thought, what's this black box in the middle? Is that a mistake? And then I looked at the next one, and I pulled back and went, oh, no, it's the numbers. Okay, that's fine.
Were you reading this panel by panel?
No, I was just looking at the whole. I don't focus on panel to panel.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
It's just the way you said pulled back then, I was wondering if you were reading it.
No, I just sort of look at it as a whole and then realise, it's numbers counting down. Because they are obviously very weirdly shaped numbers because they're still meant to be kind of boxes.
Yeah, I think the most distinct one is like the 3 or maybe the 4.
Yeah.
5 struggles because of where it has one of the speech boxes.
So I just went back and looked through it with the guided view, and it looks super cool. When you swipe, it feels like animated.
Because it's counting down, yeah.
So well done. I didn't even notice that until now because I was reading it at lunch. So just trying to get through it, but yeah.
So I actually thought that was a mistake, and there was just weird black splotches for no reason, and then it was like, oh no, it's intentional because it's
once you get it, it's like no, it's a cool little thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. Mm-hmm. And then the Man-Bat finds a note that leads to the idea that Zatara's actually somewhere, right? And he could come back. That he's struggling to fight back.
Am I the only one who read the whole note? Because it's all written there backwards.
Oh, I didn't. I tried, and I was like, you know what? I hate doing this. I'm not doing it.
See here, the other place, home of the great and terrible monster that infects our world as the magicians trapped inside seek desperately to escape.
Who can escape the tendrils of the Rip?
I read the Rip. Yeah. So here's the thing. This doesn't work for this because it's a note, but I kind of wish that for the backwards speak they just did what they do with other languages. Just put the little arrows next to it and say this is translated from backwards.
No, that loses some of it.
No, because I like that. That's such a Zatanna is to read the backwards.
When there's too much of it, I hate it. I hate reading it.
So in Countdown, we got the evil version of Zatanna, but instead of saying things backwards, she stupidly said them upside down. So they would just print the words upside down, and that's why Countdown was terrible. Was because of stuff like that.
I mean, how do you say something upside down?
I don't know, Connor. She was the Earth 3 version of Zatanna.
Hey, Connor, the upside down man does it okay.
I was waiting for that.
Oh dear.
But anyways, so the Rip, it's Sargon.
Yeah, Sargon. That's
a cool thing to see. Well, I'm looking up Sargon because I know he's a Golden Age character.
Yeah, I don't know much about Sargon.
Yeah, he's popped up in a few stories I've read here or there.
Okay.
But I've never seen him as a major thing.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, but he takes his gem off and they kind of throw it into like the portal and it ends up with Man-Bat, basically.
Zatara kind of casts a spell on it to, find Zatanna and kind of let her know the answers that she needs to fight this.
Yeah, so Man-Bat sees it and he's kind of freaking out. And this is when we get that great panel of the Upside Down Man walking in the room behind him. Really, really good. So, yeah.
I love that final panel where he's doing the shushing fingers behind Man-Bat. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'll tell Zata about this in the morning, but I need to go to sleep. So we have like, the last couple of panels after he turns off the light. It's the sound effects of the steps and the ceiling.
And the clack, clack, clack of the typing.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. The clack, clack, clack was he's writing something on the typewriter.
Yeah, because he's the one that's filling in all the stories. Because Man-Bat's like, I don't know who wrote this. Like, how is this possible? And then we come to find out.
That makes more sense. I thought it was the footsteps. That makes more sense. Typing thing.
Yeah.
Which is kind of terrifying that he's writing enough to let them know.
Yeah.
To make them afraid, right?
Yeah, he wants to spread the stories. Yeah. Well, that's because the first few he did know when he wrote, right?
Yeah.
Once he gets to the last one, he's like, I didn't write this one. What's happening?
Yeah. You need to know about it to be afraid of it.
Yeah, so that's really good. I think this is the best issue of the book so far, by honestly a mile. My only critique is that I think the first couple of pages are far too overwritten. The first Man-Bat pages, I felt like he could have set up the whole thing where he's like, hey, we've been dealing with all these cases, do you want to hear about it? He could have said everything that needed to be said in those 3 pages in like 3 panels.
I agree you could have done, but I got really into the actual the flow of the dialogue of it.
I don't think I did. I think it was just too wordy, those first couple of pages.
I think it's that striking the Lovecraft introduction style of how he starts his stories really worked for me to get me in that frame of mind immediately.
But I do like the premise of him sitting telling these stories. I do like that as a framing device, and I do like all the monsters that are introduced and the ending. All of this stuff is really good.
Lords of Order next time.
This is back to the straight up horror that I liked about this book in the first few issues. So we got Darkest Hour out the way. We got that 2-parter in the mirror out the way.
I'm assuming you meant Witching Hour.
What did I say?
Darkest Hour.
Oh, Witching Hour. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was no Winston Churchill.
It might have made the book better though.
It might have been. But this is back to what I like about the book, and I actually think it's the best issue yet. So, and the art's fantastic from Alvarez. It's very good.
Yeah,
very good. Or not Alvarez. I just combined his first and last name there. Martinez, Alvaro Martinez.
Yeah.
So no, I really like the horror stuff here. I like the other kind and the designs and how they're revealed.
I do appreciate how self-aware the book is. We mentioned other Lovecraft, and there's actual references. You mentioned Tales from the Crypt. The title is Tales from the Other Kind of the issue. So it's very aware of what it's doing. It's not trying to piggyback on that. It's like no, these are intentional things.
And Man-Bat is the one who looks the closest to the Crypt Keeper. Yeah,
well, it's what really set me is different artists draw the bat face differently, and he drew him with the big open nostrils, which is very reminiscent of the Crypt Keeper. So that was definitely by design.
No, so very, 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 very good. So Matt, what are you giving it?
So this was an 8.5. Really enjoyed this one.
I'm going up there with a 10 for this. I loved it.
Whoa, okay. I'm going to give it a 9. So I guess I'm in the middle, but obviously 9's still a great score.